The Penn New England Award in Nonfiction this year goes to Rinker Buck for his book, The Oregon Trail. This year's judge, come on. This year's judge was Anthony Swafford, who could not be with us today. But here's what he had to say about this remarkable book. The Oregon Trail is a masterly hybrid. Rinker Buck blends autobiography, history of the West, and family memoir into a compelling and deeply humane narrative following he and his lovable brother as they drive a mule team and wagon across ruts that hadn't been followed continuously in over a century. His love of animals and nature and disdain for RV travelers is infectious and often hilarious. With deft storytelling and rehistoricizing, he unmasks the brutality and devilishness of Americans and the American experience, from our originating ethnic cleansing of native tribes to the current methamphetamine scourge that marks and mars the Oregon Trail. Whatever conveyance Rinker Buck chooses to tell his next story, we should all buy advance tickets now. Congratulations, Rinker Buck.
This is a fine moment for me, and I want to thank the Penn New England, all the great people under Jofi Ferrari Adler at Simon & Schuster who did such a great job with this book, and my agent, Sloan Harris. There's a nice rounding back for me here today because I grew up among the other eccentricities of my upbringing, which I write a lot about in this book. My parents had this infallible instinct for settling in the right place, so we had this big old horse farm in northern New Jersey, and they were Democrats and members of Penn. My dad was a publisher in New York. He was very devoted to Penn. And this was, as far as you could see for 30 or 40 miles, the only neighbors were Republicans. So the reason I feel so emotional right now about Penn is I remember one time, my dad was always, it seemed like it was artists and writers in Latin America and artists and writers and scientists imprisoned in the Soviet Union. This was in the 60s now, that my dad was so concerned about. And I'll just never forget that one night where I made the huge mistake of inviting this girlfriend home to dinner. And all I can tell you, and my feelings about Penn since then have been, she left with a much greater knowledge of writers in jail in the Soviet Union. My father explained to her, it took him a while to explain to her what the word gulag meant. And she's this beautiful, rich Protestant girl going, oh yeah, And so I've changed my feelings now, and I'm very grateful to have received this award. Thank you.